Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. I am Morgan, and today I've done this before. I want to say I've done this 2, 3, maybe 4 times before, but I've really done it this time. I don't have any notes. I have nothing. I don't even have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about on today's podcast episode because things here have just been a whirlwind lately, and I had a huge, so I do what's called cryo yoga. That's what my husband calls it. It's my somatic movement, and I've been doing hip openers every day, like yoga poses, but I have not done the somatic movement in a while. And so this morning I was prompted to do the somatic yoga, or the somatic movements. And as I was doing the hip opener for trauma release, like that was it. It was like floodgates open, just all of this, everything came out, just crying so much. I cried until I laughed, and it was so amazing, and it was such a release. But the messages that I started receiving, in this space went over into my meditation, because I pull cards every morning. I meditate. And basically, I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself lately to do everything and be an amazing business owner, be the face of the business, and showing up on things like social media, planning things ahead with, planning products and product launches with the way of the world that it is right now. Trying to be the perfect wife and mother and, all of this. And it all came out today. Like it just all came out. And so not only have I been left in this very innocent state at the moment, very childlike, it's almost like I got a new set of eyes today to look through my eyes, but look at the world with this amazing freedom that I feel like I have not had in a very long time. And it's all been me. No one puts this pressure on me. My husband does not put this pressure on me. The people that work here do not put pressure on me. It is me. It is self-inflicted pressure. And when all of this came to me this morning, starting with the somatic movement and then going into meditation, it was just so eye-opening for me. And one of the things that came to mind during all of this was, okay, so long story short, I will try to make it short at least. So we're being heavily affected by this bullshit between the United States and China. I think I probably have mentioned it before on the podcast, or it could have been on the Two Witches Talking podcast. I don't know anymore. But we do have manufacturers in China. We have manufacturers in India. I think we have one in Pakistan. We work with people from all over the world. Okay. But the one with this whole tariff bullshit between us and China has really affected us. So we have actually halted all overseas ordering. We have for months now. Okay. Which means that trying to plan ahead for boxes, for our subscription box, for products, everything, we're having to either make a lot of the stuff ourselves, like the majority of the stuff ourselves, or we're having to source here in the US, which is fine. But it is way more challenging because a lot of people don't understand this. And I'm glad that I'm actually talking about this. A lot of people look down their nose at Chinese manufacturers. But the thing is I can have an idea that is only half-ass formed and go to one of our the main one that we work with is a woman-owned business. And in China, that's unheard of. So I love that they have a woman CEO. The majority of their business are also women. And I freaking love that. And they've been in business for like 20 years or more. Amazing business. Okay. But I can take a half-assed idea and pitch it to them. And then we just kind of figure something out. And then, Megan, my creative director here, will help, add dimension to it. And then, we'll send it back to them. And this is how we get so many gorgeous custom products for our subscription box. I can do that here in America, but it's not as welcoming. I'm not going to lie. Okay. So with us having completely halted ordering from any overseas, because I don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next, there's been a lot of pressure because the box still has to be created. Our subscription box still has to be created. It still has to go out every month. And we've raised the bar so much on just how amazing these boxes are that I want to keep the bar up there, This is how we've stuck around since 2016. Just the subscription box part of it. But yesterday, we've hit the next quarter of planning. We planned so far and ahead, and we've hit the next quarter for planning. And both Megan and I just sat and stared at our freaking laptops yesterday. And we were like, well, what about this? And I was like, oh, I don't like that. And then I'd be like, what about this? No, I don't like that idea either. So I think an hour we went back and forth like this. Like, okay, well, what about this idea for a box? And I was like, what would we even put in it? That I went, you know what? I'm done. This pushing is some divine masculine shit. Our whole society is built on divine masculine shit of push, hustle, blah, blah, blah. And you only can get things done if you work super hard and exhaust yourself and burn yourself out. And it's bullshit. Okay. It is absolute bullshit. That is very divine masculine. And I have been talking for months about how much I am embodying divine feminine energy. So all of this, like planning our subscription boxes, planning new products is never hard for us. Okay. And I need you to understand, or I want you to understand that, like, is the work hard? Yeah, we're diligently working. But when you're tapped into that flow, it's not hard work. Like the work or the creativity, the everything that comes with it is beautiful, and it is in a flow, and the boxes come together because I've opened myself up to be divinely inspired. So I know that when we're having a hard time figuring out box themes or figuring out items for boxes, something is misaligned. I've been doing this now since 2016. Something is misaligned. If a box doesn't come together beautifully. Okay. So I told Megan, I said, all right, executive decision, let's go antiquing. Megan and I love going antiquing. Yesterday's trip was just for inspiration. We ended up picking up a few things for some fun kits in the future, but we got inspiration. We went to 2 different antique stores, including the haunted one here in town. I love going to that one. I still get nauseous in the back corner too. Just, it's haunted and there's something back there. Anyway, we just took off for the day, went to antique stores, and we came out with 4 box ideas, like 4 themes for boxes. And even the products are now that we've got those ideas, the products are starting to fall into place. And I was like, this is what I needed. I needed to stop pushing, stop the hustle, stop all of that. And that was yesterday. So I went from that beautiful day into today, where it was made apparent to me that how much shit I had pent up inside of me, how much emotion and how much stress and how much pressure I was putting on myself. But I was basically like a champagne bottle that had been shaken. And thank God I had the insight, or thank the goddess, I will say, that I had the insight after my workout this morning to just lay on a yoga mat in the floor and say, okay, it's time to do somatic movement. Like, it's for the first time in a while. I don't need to go do my hip stretches. I need to sit here and do somatic movement and do the trauma release, the trauma hip opener. And so I did it. And that was when everything came flooding out. It was exactly what I needed. And in this crying, I even thought about how beautiful yesterday was, about just the freedom of being able to head to an antique store, the inspiration we got, all of that. And how when I stopped pushing, that's when you stop pushing, that's when you allow things to unfold. If you are pushing always, then you're forcing your will in a direction that maybe you shouldn't be going. So to break, what is it called? A pattern interrupt, I think is what it's called in like psychology. Yesterday was a pattern interrupt for me, and it led to an amazing release for myself, an amazing realization of how much I have been pushing myself despite embodying so much divine feminine energy, creation and sexuality and like all of that. I still have been pushing. And I'm tired of fucking pushing. So I came into work today feeling amazing. And then I sat down in front of the computer and I had this, my to-do list is literally this big, you guys. It is so tiny for those listening. It is like a sliver of paper today of the things I had to do. But yet I sat in front of my computer just staring at it blankly like, oh my God, all I want to do is just make pretty pictures. Or I don't know, anything. I wanted to update the archives in the Ink Spirit Coven. I wanted to just do kind of mindless stuff. And I kept saying, oh my God, I have to write a podcast. And then I have to record it. And then, I send it. Thank goodness I have a VA. Because I send it to her and she does all the gorgeousness with it and posts it for me and all of that. And I'm like, but even now, like I have to sit down and focus to write a podcast episode, and I just couldn't. So I found myself saying, but I have to do it. And I was like, number one, I don't have to. I need everyone listening to understand that the podcast is a hobby of mine. Okay. But I now have the paid Patreon. So people are, wanting things and they are paying for tiers of the Patreon. And I'm like, ooh, all right. So it is one of those things where like, I almost have to do it every week. But I know that if I were to take a week off, I don't think anybody would, email us just horrible, horrible things. So I don't have that fear. But the podcast is a hobby of mine, and it is something that I enjoy doing. I thoroughly enjoy doing it. So I was just sitting there at my desk and I was like, pattern interrupts. Let's go fucking do it again. And I just came in here and closed the door and hit record. Before I did, I went out and told everyone. I was like, hey, I'm going to go record my podcast. And they're like, oh, what topic did you choose? And I'm like, I didn't. I'm just going to hit record and see what comes up. Because that's the flow that I'm in today. I started it yesterday. I started this flow. And it's led to beautiful things. It has led to the creative blocks being released. The obstacles in my path lifting. I'm able to move forward. Whereas yesterday I was pushing so hard to move forward. Pushing. And I got nowhere. I just stared at a computer screen and frustration grew and I wanted to throw shit and I started getting angry because I was like, why is this not easy? That's it. Pattern disrupt. Pattern disrupt. Yeah, that's the term. See, now I'm having like the word just anyway. I was thinking that maybe that should be the name of the The episode today is like pattern disrupt or pattern interrupt or whatever I said earlier. But now I'm thinking again too much, and I'm tired of thinking right now. I'm not even kidding. I'm tired of thinking. So this is my podcast episode today. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I think that the episode or the main point of the episode is to let you all know that if you're pushing and you're not getting anywhere, then do something different. Because do something fun. Oh my God, going antiquing was so much fun. I wish I would have taken more pictures. I need to get better about just taking fun pictures for at least just stories. But for those of you that have followed me on Instagram or are following me on Instagram, if you notice, I haven't been uploading stories a lot lately at all. It's just because I guess I could feel myself building to this point of burnout, which I did just receive Megan Winkler's Breaking Up with Burnout book in the mail yesterday. So I'm going to have to definitely give that a read this weekend. Megan Winkler, who I have the other podcast with, Two Witches Talking, she wrote a book. You should go. It's called Breaking Up with Burnout. Please, by all means, go read it. I will probably be diving into that. Well, I will be diving into it. Whether or not I finish it in one weekend, we'll have to see. Because this is also, just a little side note here, this weekend is the first weekend that I do not have to work, either Saturday or Sunday, in at least the month of May. At least the month of May. If I were to go back and look at my calendar for the month of April, would probably see that I worked at least Saturday or Sunday every weekend in April as well. So, yeah, it is going to be an amazing weekend. My husband and I, we have recently claimed the titles or I don't know. We're cinephiles, and I freaking love that, because cinephiles are just people who are extremely into movies, like movie theories, movie conspiracy theory, like movie everything. And we love watching movies, and the word cinephile was presented to me, and I was like, I love this because it sounds a hell of a lot better than we like to sit around and be lazy and watch movies. But a lot of our streaming services this weekend have launched movies that we've been waiting for quite a while. So we have literally planned to do nothing and watch movies all weekend. And the thought of it makes me want to cry. So maybe my brain has already checked out in favor of the weekend, knowing that we're just going to sit there and watch movies all weekend. I don't know. So whatever, I hope that you got something from this episode. I was able to hit record and talk for 20 minutes almost. Holy shit. I am a talker. I come from a long line of talkers. And I love it too, because I think it was a couple of episodes ago on Two Witches Talking. We pull cards at the end, like conversation cards. And it was like, oh, you stumble onto a stage and you what could you talk about for 5 minutes? Well, apparently I can talk for 20 minutes about absolutely nothing, but also everything at the same time. Because the last 2 days have just been so profound for me that I just need more time to let it truly sit in and simmer, this freedom, this exhale, and this reframe of holy shit, I do not have to be perfect. And it is in the imperfection, it is in the rest that I've been able to move forward for the last 2 days. So that was what needed to be said. If you're pushing and pushing and pushing and you're not getting anywhere, then try a pattern interrupt. Try to do something different, do something fun, do something out of the norm, because just allowing yourself that freedom and allowing your path to unfold before you, you will find that you'll move forward and it'll be effortless. So, the paid Patreon content for this week's episode is going to be more of this. I'm just going to hit stop on the main recording and then start up another recording, and we'll see what the fuck happens there. Yeah. So if you're interested in joining my paid Patreon, there's 3 tiers. Okay. The first tier is the podcast tier. That'll get you the bonus content and a shout out on my podcast. So I do have 3 members, new members this week. I think 3. This has been amazing. So I want to thank Diane, Lizzie, and Sean for being new paid Patreon members. The middle tier gets you the podcast tier as well as a weekly tarot reading, which I launch on Sundays or Mondays, depending on if I'm in the office. But that gives you a weekly card reading for the week's energy. And then the top tier gets you Book of Shadow pages, which when I get done recording, that's what I'm in the mood to do, is be creative and just create things. So I'm going to go create some Book of Shadow pages for the top tier because it's been a while. I have about 7 started. And again, I've been pushing so much that I pushed myself into a wall and just got to a point where I stopped all of it because I lost the inspiration and I was like, oh. So that's what happens when you push, you know? But yeah, that's at patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations. I want to thank you all for being here, for listening, for giving me a platform to just improvise on some days or some weeks because it's amazing and it's completely freeing. And yeah, I love it. So thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff wherever you get your podcasts, because it helps other magically curious people find the podcast. It helps the algorithm push my podcast out to other people. So, and if you listen, but you want to watch the episode, you can do that on my YouTube channel. It is something like Ink Goddess Creations Shop. If you just go to YouTube and type in Ink Goddess Creations, I think I'm the first thing that comes up. So you're good. And then I'm under podcast there. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you all next week. Bye. If you're looking for a magical community where you can just be yourself, check out my Ink Spirit Coven. The Coven is an online learning circle for eclectic witches who want to learn new witchcraft practices and how to easily incorporate magic into their daily lives, all while being supported on their personal spiritual journey. And you'll have me as your magical mentor, sharing my knowledge, answering questions, and facilitating the online community. Head to inkspirit.com to learn more and join. And if unique witchcraft supplies made by witches for witches is just what you need, head to my store, inkgoddesscreations.com, to see what we have to enhance your magical practice. We also have the Ink Goddess Creations box, a monthly subscription of magic mail filled with exclusive items that fit a magical theme. Head to the site to see this month's theme and sneak peeks.